How's it going, everyone? I am Russell Clay. We are here today taking a look at some DraftKings defenses. If you can see, my hair is done. Don't be deceived. I haven't done anything all day. I just literally have been writing and being lazy, and I got up 5 minutes ago and said, you know, I look really gross when I don't do my hair, at least in some sense of the word. So I threw some water on, uh, and that's how that goes. But anyway, getting into some defenses here. I guess general strategy for me this week, I don't feel the need to pay down beyond Chiefs, Broncos, Vikings. I think that's pretty simplistic in terms of strategy. If you want a nice high floor, I really just think you cut it down to Broncos, Vikings, and cash games. I just don't see the need to do anything other than that. Um, Jacksonville has a new offensive coordinator, obviously. This kind of changes the dynamic a little bit for me. Kansas City certainly has upside. It's just they have a lot of downside as well. You kind of look through, and they've either done really well or kind of gotten beat up here. So I'm not totally in on them. Uh, but, obviously Blake Bortles and his mechanics need a lot of help before, you can really trust Jags players again. I would just give it another week. But yeah, Broncos against Oakland. I'm not afraid of Oakland. I'm not afraid of going with the Broncos here. Best defense in football. And at 3,700, I'm willing to take the gamble that they kind of figure this out. Obviously had that one bad game against Atlanta, but other than that, you're looking at a really high floor team. At 3,800, it's pretty easy for me. Vikings coming off a dud against the Bears. I'm not worried about that. I think you still fire away with them. I know they got some extra injuries that week, might be without some players, but I just don't think this Lions team matches up well with them, especially at home. That's not something I'm interested in jumping in on. I know some people are interested in the Eagles. I understand that. I get it. Obviously the Eagles have had some big fantasy games this year, kind of going with the theme of, the last few years. But on the road, I'm not quite buying them as much. At 31, I'm okay with the price, but I'm not necessarily touching them unless it's a tournament swerve. Panthers, I'm okay with, kind of. But I think, the projections are kind of pointing us towards potentially using that Rams passing game this week. So I think that's a bad sign for the Panthers secondary and their fantasy upside, to say the least. So that's kind of the general vibe there. I'm okay with the Chargers this week. If you don't have any more sort of salary at the end and you don't want to go with the Eagles, I think the Chargers are an interesting alternative here. You kind of just look at that matchup. Ever since Joey Bosa got thrown in there, the Chargers have been really good. And I mean, we already knew that secondary was emerging as a top group. I think Joey Bosa changes the dynamic of really that whole defense, but especially the run defense and especially, getting pressure on the quarterback. He's been a monster. Um, this could shift, how easily the Titans can run on them. Do I think that the Titans will break through at some point? Yes, but I think this could be a Mariota mistake week, and I like betting on that a little bit. As far as paying down, I mean, there's just not much here. You can't touch Colts, 49ers, Browns, Saints, Jaguars. You can't touch any of them. Those are just automatically out. Don't want to touch the Lions. I mean, I know some people might take that risk because of Sam Bradford, but I actually kind of like Sam Bradford this week. The Rams, I don't mind it. Obviously, they can get the pressure, but, uh, I just don't trust them with Greg Olsen and Kelvin Benjamin. I think that's just a week to fade the Rams defense. But if you're looking for something for 2,400 and you want to get a nice discount, I'm not against it, I suppose. Mid range, I just have no faith in anybody being able to stop Phillip Rivers at this stage. I mean, you could put him out there with a college team right now, and he's just dunking his way to the red zone. Titans are better this year against the run. Still, a viable team to target with the pass. So I just don't trust them against Phillip Rivers. And that's really it. I mean, I don't see much variance going on this week. I really think you stick to the top few options here. Just seems, with some of the values, with Charkandrick West, with the Rams receivers, with, Lance Kendricks, with some of the other values here, I just don't see any need to stress yourself out over some team getting a pick six to hold at like 8 points. Just go with the Vikings, go with the Broncos, go with the Chiefs, and don't sweat it. Is kind of my perspective on this week. So, as always, you can check out Daily Fantasy Cafe for all our awesome tools and content. If you want to read this article, I turned this into an article. That's up on the site, so certainly go check that out when you can. Um, and hey, if you like what we're doing on the YouTube videos, especially this week, we kind of changed up the format. Give us a like and subscribe, and good luck this week, guys, and we will see you guys in week 10.